Oh, it's a busy news day. Thank you for that, Steph. All right, here's where we're going to begin. A suspect in custody after an intense police chase early this morning. Now, officers say this began around 2 a.m. during an investigation into an assault. A suspect vehicle spotted in the College and Spadina area. When police attempted to stop that vehicle, the driver taking off. However, police were able to finally box them in. And this was around 3 this morning near Queens Quay in Freeland area, which is just east of Yonge. Details around the original assault, that investigation, have not been released. Still just gathering some information here, so we'll let you know as soon as we have more. Following another story here to the streets, a man in his 40s suffering life-threatening injuries after being shot in the city's West End. Emergency crews called to the scene of Keele and Finch around 8 o'clock last night after reports of a shooting. Upon arrival, they located a man behind an apartment complex on Keele with a gunshot wound. The victim rushed to hospital on an emergency run. Police have not released any suspect information just yet. So as Frankie's going to be telling you all morning long, the city of Toronto, it is hot. Opening up emergency cooling centers as we get ready for yet another day of that heat. So we're just going to list off some of these cooling centers for you, including the Etobicoke Civic Center, Metro Hall, North York Civic Center. All 8 offering air-conditioned space for residents to cool down, get a drink. Daytime highs, again, Frank will break this down once again, going to be in the 30s, feeling closer to 40 with that humidity. And during the heat warning, Metro Hall location, that's going to be open up for 24 hours. All other centers open from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. And we are standing by live right now at a place that will likely be very busy. We're talking about a lot of the pools here. Gus Ryder Outdoor Pool in Sunnyside. Great way to cool down here through the city. Experts say, yes, important, dress for that weather. Please do check in on anyone who may be vulnerable, living alone. A cold front is coming tonight, and that, as Frank says, too, will be bringing some activity. We might see some showers and thunderstorms, but it'll also help to cool things down. Well, let's talk about who's hot. The Montreal Canadiens not giving up hope just yet in the Stanley Cup final.
Pass Ruda. He's got Caulfield in front. And a centering play. Caulfield. Anderson scores!
Anderson scoring his second goal of the game in OT, fighting off elimination as the Habs defeating Tampa Bay 3-2. Carey Price also had a pretty nice night. 32 saves, his best performance of this series, and fans going wild. But soon after the win, riot police surrounding the crowd outside Bell Center to disperse fans. The Lightning leading 3-1 of this series, heading into Game 5, which is tomorrow night in Tampa. And as always, you can catch all the action on Sportsnet. Let's get to COVID-19 now. Thanks to high vaccination rates in our province, more restrictions will be eased for long-term care residents across the province tomorrow. So residents will be allowed to have 2 general visitors and caregivers indoors, and they can visit up to 10 people outdoors. Personal care services will resume in the homes, and residents will be allowed to have an unlimited amount of designated caregivers. The province says 99% of nursing home residents and 84% of staff are fully vaccinated, so that indeed making a difference. All right, the Ford government back in the spotlight again as parents and teachers waiting for the province's school reopening plan.
We'll be sharing final guidance with the ministry in the coming weeks. We will provide that to parents with the intention of restoring extracurriculars, sports, clubs, and a more social, interactive, yet continuing to be safe learning experience.
The Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation concerned that the province is walking the same path as it did last year when school reopening guidance wasn't released until August. Education Minister Stephen Lecce says school ventilation systems have improved, but admits more work needs to be done. On a positive note, Lecce says ongoing vaccination efforts will improve overall school safety. Meantime, the Ontario government providing over $320,000 to help address anti-Semitism in schools. The province is partnering with the Friends of Simon Wiesenthal Center for Holocaust Studies to provide 2 summer programs that will educate students and staff on issues surrounding anti-Semitism. A recent study showing there were close to 300 police-reported incidents targeting the Jewish community, I should say, across the country in 2019. Well, a report looking into renaming Dundas Street. That's going to be going before the city's executive committee today. And if it is approved, the motion will be reviewed by City Council later on this month. Mayor John Tory says he supports the renaming of Dundas, the street named after Henry Dundas, who helped delay the end to the transatlantic slave trade. A petition calling for the renaming of the street was created last June following global discussions on racial injustices and anti-Black racism. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is heading to Saskatchewan to visit a First Nation community where hundreds of unmarked graves were found at a former residential school. Trudeau and Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe visiting Cowsis First Nation for a signing ceremony. That's where control of child services will be handed over to the Indigenous community. Several Indigenous groups have notified Indigenous Services Canada that they intend to handle their own child and family services. 751 unmarked graves found at a former residential school in Cowsis First Nation last month. All right, 6:11 is your time right now. If you think prices at the pumps are high, get ready. We could be in for another hike on the way. Mike Eppel, he'll break that down for you on the other side of this break.